Hey, it's Sean C. Smith, Renegades, and I'm here to talk about tonight's unfortunate overtime loss of the St. Louis Blues. Let's say this. Let's look at the bright sides. The Predators put on a very, very, very solid defensive showing. And while there were a few things that I would probably think need to be corrected, there were a lot of penalties from Ryan Johansson for some reason. It looked like the team was playing a strong defensive game, but also managed to get a lot of good looks on Bennington, even getting pretty close to scoring a few goals. Anyway, here's the thing. End of the night, 3-on-3 overtime. It's sudden death. That shot goes right off of Saros. It just takes an odd angle, just leaving the net wide open. There was really nothing that could have been done aside from just hoping that dude totally missed. And Shin didn't miss. He scored. Game ends immediately. An unfortunate end, but I'm going to look on the bright side because we need some bright side right now. And they came away with one of the 2 points. Now, let's talk about some other things. I got a few things to talk about that probably aren't the greatest things in the world. One of those is going to be that the Predators play the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night at home. That's right. One day after they played the Blues, they're playing a team that has been able to kill them with speed. And here the Predators come back home on the tail of a back-to-back where they've had a day of travel in between. It's never a good sign, and I'll probably say this, and it'll probably come back to haunt me, but everything is set up for the Predators to get blown out against the Oilers. Now that I say that, they're probably going to come back and win 8-1 or something crazy like that, but it doesn't matter because there are some other things we need to talk about. One, oh boy, lots of problems defensively, and I'm not talking about play on the ice. I'm talking about the Predators have 4 injured defenders right now, leaving them with 4 healthy defenders, and they've had to call up 2 more defenders, giving them a total of 2 guys on IR, 8 guys on the roster, and only 6 eligible to play, and those 6 all played. Now, of course, they look good. That's a bright side, right? That's a bright side. Both guys look good. They kept a pairing together from Milwaukee with Roland McEwen. We're not really sure how to say that one. I've seen it, heard it a lot of different ways. And Kevin Gravel. They looked fine. They looked solid. As long as they're up, I would say expect that kind of play from them. They're going to play limited minutes. They're going to play smart hockey. They're going to focus on defending. And I think they did a pretty good job of that. Can't complain about those guys. That also means that Alexander Carrier and Jeremy Lauzon are on day-to-day and week-to-week with upper body injuries. Not exactly what you want to see, especially considering some of the other things. Michael McCarron has entered the NHL's Player Assistance Program. And look, most of the time you don't get a reason why unless the player decides to share that reason. With Connor Ingram, he decided to share that reason, and that was why everybody knew why Connor Ingram was in the Players Assistance Program. Look, McCarron deserves his privacy. We need to just wish the best for him and hope that he's getting the help he needs to get better and get on with his life and get back to the ice. Now, at the same time, Eeli Tolvanen waived, picked up by the Seattle Kraken, and I did see a report that said that internally the Predators were fairly certain that Tolvanen would clear waivers, which kind of flies in the face of the common knowledge of much of the fan base who was not happy with that decision. And I'll say I was among those who didn't think Tolvanen would clear waivers, and I'm not 100% sure I believe those reports that they thought he would clear. Don't really know what's going on there. Haven't really a clue to tell you why. No one's going to give anything up unless Tolvanen comes out in his first time talking to Seattle and just straight up tells everybody why. But fact of the matter is Tolvanen's gone. Predators currently have 12 forwards on the roster. All 12 of them play tonight, and they're in a little bit of a cap crunch with the defender situation. So you may not see another forward added anytime soon until you start seeing some of those players come back from upper body, day-to-day, long-term injury. All of those things kind of leading to a fun situation for the Predators where they're kind of taxed on how many guys they can have on the team. But as it stands, against the Blues, they played them about even. I feel like they could have won that game. They ended up with a tie. It is what it is. Really curious to see how things go against the Edmonton Oilers. Really curious to see how this week plays out with a lot of big games coming up. Charlie, I've talked about the good. I've tried to be positive. I've talked about the bad and tried not to get too negative. That's all I got for you tonight. I'm going to send it back over to you.
Stripe